What's up, everybody? On today's project, I'm going to give you a complete DIY kitchen remodel cost breakdown that gives you every single cost associated with taking the nasty kitchen you're seeing right now and completely transforming it and remodeling it into the kitchen you're seeing now. This video is going to break down every single cost associated with this remodel, from permitting to cabinets. So without wasting time, let's get into the video. So before we get too far into the video, take a good look at the befores and now a good look at the afters, and leave a comment down below on what you guess the cost was to do this remodel. Now, before you get all crazy and start swinging a hammer all around, we got to deal with permitting costs. So what you're going to need to do is talk with your local city jurisdiction, figure out what permits you're going to need, and then apply for those with the city. At a minimum, this will probably be a building permit, an electrical permit, and a plumbing permit. You may need more, but check with your municipality. I would estimate you're probably going to spend around $500 for the permits. Again, this could be more, could be less, but check with your city and they'll let you know exactly how much money they're going to take from you. Your demolition work is going to consist of things like removal of cabinets, removal of counters, but basically just taking everything from your existing kitchen and getting it out of there so you can start with a clean slate. And because I did all of the demolition work and basically all the work 100% on my own, there were zero costs associated with that except for my time, which I apparently don't value at all. It was a lot of time. So with the demolition work done and hopefully $0 spent, we can move on to some of the rough-in work. So although rough-in work is really anything but glamorous, it's absolutely crucial to a successful kitchen remodel. So when I refer to things like rough-in costs, I'm talking about things like rerouting plumbing lines, adding new supply lines, maybe you're removing a partition wall and replacing it with a header, which is something we did. These are all things that kind of fall into that rough-in bin. The first rough-in cost that I had to deal with was replacing some of the rotted subfloor. So to do that, I had to purchase 3 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood, and those were around $50 each, and I needed 3 sheets of those, so that was $150. And that partition wall that we removed during the demo, as it turns out, that was load bearing. So we consulted with an engineer. He gave us our header size, and then we went and we picked up the laminated veneer lumber for that header and then installed it. The lumber cost $95 for that header. The other big rough-in cost for my kitchen was I found that the 1.5 inch drain line coming from the kitchen sink was completely clogged, and it was backing up in the sink basically anytime you left it running. So I had to replace that entire run of 1.5 inch with 2 inch PVC going all the way from the sink to the sewer drain stack. So that was just a couple sticks of pipe. That cost me right around 50 bucks. So the grand total for all of the rough-in work came out to roughly $520. I'm just gonna check the time real quick. So the next big cost, which can oftentimes be the biggest cost in a kitchen remodel, is the cabinets. Now, cabinets come in all kinds of varieties, sizes, and prices, obviously, depending on the grade of the cabinet. So you have your low end, kind of your medium end, and then your custom end cabinets. I would say for the low end, you're looking at about $100 to $300 per linear foot. For the semi-custom, you're probably in that 300 to 500 foot range, per linear foot. And then for the high end, you're looking at around $500 to even $1,000 per linear foot of cabinet. So I did a ton of research when picking cabinets for my remodel. Some of my non-negotiables were that I wanted plywood, solid plywood all throughout, no particle board. I wanted soft close features, and I wanted white shaker style cabinets. So for my kitchen cabinets, I went with ProCraft cabinets, which I actually got through the Home Depot Pro Desk. These are solid plywood construction, have soft close, and you guessed it, they have the shaker style white cabinets. They're called the Liberty White Shaker is the ones that I got. But if you go to your Home Depot Pro Desk and ask for ProCraft, they'll be able to hook you up. I sat down with an associate at Home Depot at the Pro Desk, and we went through the layout for my kitchen and kind of put together a preliminary plan of how everything would look, and then we calculated the linear footage of cabinets that I would need. So after everything was designed and we finally had our layout established, we got a final cost of around $2,850 for the cabinets. I needed 27 linear feet of cabinets, so when you end up breaking that down, it was really only about $106 per linear foot, which I think is a great price for the quality of the ProCraft cabinet, but that's just me. So with our cabinet selected, now it's time to talk about countertops. I was kind of torn between what I wanted to do for counters, but when I was sitting down with the same ProDesk associate that helped me out with the cabinets, he mentioned that they were doing a special on quartz countertops, and I just couldn't pass it up. So although quartz is kind of middle of the road in terms of price and quality, you can go as low as almost $20 per square foot with a counter like laminate, and you can go as high as almost like $250 per square foot for something like marble. So select what kind of countertop material you want based on your kitchen, and then once you have the cost per square foot, determine the square footage of counter and just multiply that together. We're not doing basic math on this channel, but you get the picture. I ended up going with something called iced white. I want to make sure that's right real quick. Iced white quartz, which is manufactured by MSI Surfaces, and you can get that again through the Home Depot ProDesk. So let me just read off real quick. I have my numbers here. I had 35 square feet of counter, and I had 22 linear feet of this 6-inch backsplash kind of thing that you're seeing here. When you added up all of that, the grand total came out to $1,939, which if you add up my square footage for both the counter and that little backsplash area, that only equated to $42 per square foot. For my counter installation, the $1,939 included installation, but make sure that that's included for your countertops, considering anything with, marble or quartz is basically the only aspect of the remodel that you can't do on your own. Next up, let's talk about flooring. So your flooring costs are going to be highly dependent on the size of your kitchen and then obviously the material and quality you select. So for my kitchen floor, I went with something very simple, which was basically a $4 per square foot life-proof luxury vinyl plank flooring that had a integral underlayment. So for the size of my kitchen, which was very small, I only needed to pay around $520 for my flooring because it was only around 130 square feet, again, multiplied by that $4 per square foot for the LVP. If you want to go a little bit higher end for your flooring and do something like hardwood or tile, I would estimate around $8 to $20 per square foot, obviously depending on the quality of the material you select. A little parched. Now let's talk about appliances. Appliances can be incredibly expensive depending on which brand you go with, stainless steel finish, all things like that. So before we get into the price of appliances, let's talk about a few ways to save money on your purchase. I recommend that if you can, buy your appliances in a bundle, which is going to have your refrigerator, your dishwasher, your microwave, your oven, all included in one. And then if you can, buy this bundle during a holiday sale. Home Depot and Lowe's are pretty much always doing some kind of sale. If you can buy a bundle, during Christmas or Thanksgiving or Groundhog Day, then you can hopefully get a pretty good deal. I purchased a stainless steel bundle package of LG appliances during a holiday for $3,100. So with all of the main components of the kitchen already done and accounted for and paid for, unfortunately, we can move on to the final finishing touches, which is things like installing fixtures and hooking up all the plumbing fittings and things of that nature. So for my kitchen, I went pretty low end with light fixtures. As you can see, I went with these two, which were only about $100 total. And then I needed to buy things like, plumbing hoses to go from the sink to the dishwasher and then to the refrigerator. I also bought this nifty little touch faucet, which I'm a huge fan of, and I installed a couple electrical switches. So for all these kind of finishing touches, I spent right around $600. So I know your head is probably spinning from all these numbers. So I'm gonna put every single cost in a table for you. Let's get serious. If we add up our
plumbing costs with our demolition costs with our rough-in work, plus our cabinets, plus our countertops, plus our flooring, plus our appliances, and plus our fixtures,
we get a grand total of $10,028. So when I first added everything up, I was actually a little surprised at how much everything added up to. I figured that by doing all the labor on my own, that materials would only be around maybe $6,000 or $7,000, and I would save a bunch of money. But this really goes to show you that you can't remodel a kitchen even if you do all the labor on your own for any less than $10,000, which to me was a little surprising. This was my first kitchen remodel, so I'm sure that I made some mistakes. Let me know down in the comments what those were. Guys, I really do appreciate you watching. Thank you for your support of this channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.